Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Currently Speaking, the podcast of the Current Consulting Group. And I'm Bill Current, the president and founder of the Current Consulting Group. I started this company in 1998. And so in September, we will be celebrating our 27th anniversary as a consulting company. And we've been identified in various surveys of the industry as the number one recognized brand in drug testing consulting. We specialize in compliance consulting, helping companies write state and regulatory compliant drug testing policies, always customized to meet their specific needs. We provide some very state-of-the-art online training for supervisors, DERs, employees, and we also maintain a very extensive database of state laws that affect workplace drug testing called Current Compliance. And you can subscribe to that. So if you're interested, visit our website at currentconsultinggroup.com. You'll find lots of information about the services that we provide. You'll also find past episodes of this podcast, Currently Speaking. And please like them and subscribe on YouTube and help us grow our viewership. Share this information with others so we can bring more into the community and share a lot of results with everybody. Now, I'm going to talk about the importance of a drug testing purpose statement. And this is sort of an excerpt from an article I wrote for the NDASA e-magazine, The Voice. If you're not a member of NDASA, I strongly recommend you go to their website, ndasa.com, and join NDASA. It is worth every penny. It's a great investment for you, for other employees in your company, whether you're a drug testing provider or you're an employer who relies on drug testing. Check out NDASA at ndasa.com. You'll find past articles that I've written and other professionals in the industry have written at their website. And you'll find information about how to join and some of the benefits of joining NDASA, which I strongly recommend. I serve on the board of directors of NDASA, and also I'm on the board of trustees of the NDASA Foundation. So I'm pretty committed to the organization. I think they do a great job. Now, we're going to talk about the importance of the drug testing policy's purpose statement. When it comes to drug testing, why you test determines who you test, when you test, and how you test. As such, an important section of any drug testing policy, but one that I think is often overlooked, if not altogether ignored, is what is known as the purpose statement. This is typically a 2 or 3 paragraph introduction to the policy that states a company's drug testing objectives, what the company hopes to achieve by conducting drug testing. It's where employees and supervisors go to learn why your company conducts drug testing. It's a very important part of the policy. A well-written, comprehensive drug testing policy is the corner of any successful drug-free workplace program. And that introductory purpose statement serves as a blueprint for the other essential components of the policy. Another very important part of the policy is the drug testing procedures section. This is where a company explains how it will conduct drug testing. Is it going to be lab-based or rapid result testing, or both? Will you be testing urine samples, oral fluid samples, or hair samples, or some combination? Will it be on-site collections, or will you be using off-site occupational health centers, etc.? Now, in order to choose the drug testing method that will increase a company's chances of having a successful drug-free workplace program, the company must understand its program's objectives. The conclusion to that process of determining those objectives ultimately results in what is included in the policy's purpose statement. So, in Current Consulting Group's annual employer survey in 2024, this was last year's survey in 2024, we asked the question, what are the leading reasons for establishing and maintaining a drug testing program for your company? So these were employers responding to that question. I'm going to go through several of the results. 85% said to promote workplace safety. That was by far the number one response. 54%, the second most commonly cited reason, was to comply with DOT regulations. 51% to hire the best possible job candidates. 49% to minimize legal risks. 45% to comply with other federal requirements. 36% to comply with state laws. 25% to reduce overall costs, and 28% to reduce employee turnover. Now, predictably, to promote workplace safety is most employers' number one reason for conducting drug testing. So following is one way that a policy's purpose statement can reflect this objective. So I'm going to use a fictitious name, the Jones Construction Company. Okay. So I'm going to read what could possibly be part of the purpose statement language reflecting the company's priority of drug testing to make the workplace safer. Quote, Jones Construction Company is committed to maintaining the safest possible working environment for all of our employees and customers. To help us achieve this objective, Jones Construction conducts drug and alcohol testing on a random basis, as well as following accidents and when reasonable suspicion of drug use exists. End quote. Now, how does this emphasis on workplace safety impact when the company conducts drug testing? Well, that's easy. The company will want to utilize drug testing practices that have the strongest deterrent effect on employee drug use. The result? Random testing, right? That has proven to be the drug testing method or reason that has the strongest deterrent effect on drug use. In fact, in a federal government survey from several years ago, many years ago, of full-time employees who admitted to being current drug users, 40% said they were less likely to work for a company that conducts random testing, and 30% said they were less likely to work for a company that conducts pre-employment testing. So drug users hate drug testing, and many of them are less likely to apply for a job or to stay at a job where a company is conducting random drug testing. Now, another highly mentioned reason for drug testing is to hire good workers. Now, in our survey, we asked that question, and if you'll recall, let me scan back up to that result. 51% said that they drug test to hire the best possible job candidates. So let's look at another sample paragraph that would have as its core that objective. Quote, the company is determined to hire the best possible workers who can contribute to a safe, productive, and drug-free workplace. To help the company achieve this objective, all applicant finalists for safety-sensitive positions will be required to pass a pre-employment drug test and submit to a background check. Now, that's just one sample. I'm not saying do this, or I'm not recommending this. We need to look at the state laws that apply to you, both for this sample and for the random testing section above. But that's one way in which the purpose statement can be worded to reflect the objectives or the goals that the company has for its drug testing program. Now, that's great, right? Let's say Jones Construction is in a highly competitive market, though. There's always the possibility of losing an ideal job candidate to a competitor down the street that doesn't conduct pre-employment testing. But the company has a strong advantage over these competitors, right? Because of their drug testing program, they have a reputation for being a drug-free workplace in a very safety-sensitive industry. And to many job applicants, that's going to be very, very important. Job seekers want to work in a safe environment, especially if they're in a safety-sensitive industry. So in order to continue to deserve that stellar reputation, let's say Jones Construction performs pre-employment testing, but they utilize, in this case, rapid result oral fluid testing. Now, why do I say that? Because that makes it possible for the company to easily conduct the test wherever job interviews are being conducted. Get results in 10 to 15 minutes with the rapid testing device. Extend a same-day job offer to those who test negative and put those applicants to work that afternoon. So they're not risking losing that applicant to a competitor down the street who doesn't do pre-employment testing. Or they're not waiting for a result to come back for a day or two or three from the laboratory and then possibly lose that ideal job candidate to a competitor down the street. They're still doing drug testing. They're still worthy of their great reputation for hiring the best possible workers, but they're doing it with a rapid result oral fluid test that's easy to collect, that yields an immediate result, and that makes it possible for the company to make same-day job offers. Okay. A policy's purpose statement doesn't just hint at the details that come later in the policy. As the sample language I've used in the two demonstrations or the two examples above, it serves as a guide to what will be included in the following sections of the policy. Now, of course, a company's objectives may change over time. And for this reason, it's critical that companies keep their policies up to date and that the policy's purpose statement changes to reflect shifting objectives. In Current Consulting Group's 2024 Employer Survey, again, we asked the question, When was the last time you updated your drug testing policy? 34.6% indicated it had been more than a year, with another 2.5% saying they've never updated the policy. And when we asked what are the biggest challenges to performing drug tests, 29.3% said it was keeping their policy up to date. Now, of course, Current Consulting Group can help you with that. We specialize in writing drug testing policies. That's our core business. At a minimum, a drug testing policy should be updated annually. In reality, with the fast-changing legal landscape prompted by state marijuana laws, which are occurring throughout the year, it may be important to update your policy in real time as these laws are passed and go into effect and have a potential impact on your program. So at a minimum, update your policy every year, maybe more often, depending on the laws that affect you, the states that you're in. You want to keep up to date on that. Subscribers to Current Compliance, our state law database service, get regular updates notifying them of progress with legislation. So that may be something you're interested in. And if you're a third-party administrator, you're a TPA, it's very important that you keep your clients up to date on evolving legislation that could affect their drug testing program. And it's also really your primary responsibility to help your employer clients, your clients and customers that are in the workplace, to make sure that they're accurately identifying their drug testing objectives. Again, referring to a Current Consulting Group survey, this one from 2022, we asked employers, who has the most influence on your drug testing decisions? 31% said TPAs have, quote, the most influence on changes to their drug testing program. That was the number one response. TPAs have the greatest influence on employers' decisions regarding their drug testing program. So if a company's policy clearly states right at the beginning what its drug testing objectives are, the rest of the policy is more likely to accurately describe what the company will do to achieve those objectives. Safety and hiring good workers are just two of the commonly cited reasons why a company conducts drug testing. But whatever the reasons, they should be articulated in the purpose statement of a company's drug testing policy right at the beginning. So if you have questions about drug testing policies and how to write them, how to review them, how to make sure yours is up to date, contact us at Current Consulting Group. And you can visit our website, currentconsultinggroup.com. You can send us an email at info@currentconsultinggroup.com, and we'll respond very quickly to any questions you have about policy services and what you need to keep your policy up to date. And if we start working together, we'll make sure that your purpose statement accurately reflects your drug testing objectives and that the rest of the policy is truly a policy that's going to help you achieve those objectives. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Currently Speaking, the podcast of the Current Consulting Group. We're glad to have you with us with each episode. Check out our archive of past episodes at currentconsultinggroup.com and look for our weekly announcements of new episodes that have been posted. Thank you again for joining us and have a great day.